I kept quiet, staring at the lady coldly because I could only think of two things, and that was 1. I was either relatively exhausted that I was seeing things that weren't real, or my hearing wasn't at its best peak. Axel, did she growl at us, and is she glaring at us right now? I asked silently to be certain that I wasn't the only one seeing shit. He huffed, then retreated into our subconscious without a word. His actions were rather old than pleasing ever since meeting the girl who claimed to be our mate. If it was any other girl doing the very same thing, he could have taken over and ripped her into pieces for her fucked up disrespect. But here he was, retreating and acting deaf. What was his fucking problem? Was he growing soft towards the slut because she looked innocent and pitiful? Either way, I wasn't having that. I pulled up my trousers and my zip without taking my eyes off of her. She had a glare across her face that was directed towards the trashy girl who was still kneeling in front of me. I moved closer and stood in front of her calmly. As calm as I was, I hated her disrespect so damn much. She slightly lowered her gaze to the ground for a second but looked up to meet mine. Her eyes held anger and something else I couldn't quite pinpoint. She opened her mouth to speak when I lifted my hand and slapped her hard across the face. She groaned in pain and quickly covered her cheek with her hand as tears filled her eyes instantly. Her hair was slightly ruffled and her hands trembling. I could feel Axel's emotions, yet I chose to ignore them. He was conflicted between getting angry with me or standing on my side. I couldn't understand why he was acting like this, but I knew who the cause was, and that was the slut in front of me. She dropped her hand slowly as tears rolled on her cheeks. I inhaled quickly and exhaled, then walked out of the room before I could do anything I didn't want to or might regret. There was a slight twinge of pain and an unexplainable feeling invading my heart. It was as if I felt bad for acting the way I did to her. I stopped moving on the stairs and laughed softly like I was a crazy madman. There is no way I feel bad. It is anger that I feel for her disrespect. I spat to myself, then continued to walk downstairs. Immediately I came outside and a smirk formed across my face. The scent of fresh blood still filled the air and I could clearly hear screams. "It's refreshing, isn't it?" Neo asked from behind. I turned and faced him with folded arms. "You know how much I love to hunt and watch my prey suffer." I answered simply. "Fancy anything in this pack?" he asked with a raised brow. I kept quiet and brushed my hand through my hair. Neo grew up by my side. Although we hated to admit it openly, we were more of brothers than friends. He understood me clearly and served me without question. Nothing went past him and he made sure everything went according to plan. A girl caught my attention. I answered in a low tone as he widened his eyes in disbelief. "I don't mean it in that way, damn it," I quickly said. "Then what did you mean, Alpha?" he asked. "My woman has been serving me and you nicely, hasn't she? To top it all up, she's got a good pussy. Don't you think she deserves a trophy of victory from another pack?" I answered seriously. He kept quiet for a second, then signed loudly. "She does. But if we are talking about trophies, then jewelry would make her happier because she has a lot of underlings serving her," he answered, getting my full attention. "You seem to know a little too well what my possession would love to have as a trophy. Why is that?" I asked seriously. It's not that I was jealous over them whispering useless promises in each other's ears. I was asking to keep a check on his loyalty. I needed him to remember who he was serving with his whole being. If I felt that his loyalty was being dragged to her, I wasn't going to hesitate in ripping him apart. "I'm your beta alpha, one of my jobs is to advise you correctly. Forgive me if I gave you doubts over my loyalty," he answered with a slight bow. "Very well, but still do have that girl upstairs in the pack house serve her," I said. "You mean the alpha's daughter?" he asked. "No, there is another girl in the office upstairs. She's very stubborn and seems to piss me off with her every move. I don't want her dead because she does spark my interest a little bit. That's why I want you to gift her to my woman as her slave. I want to see how long she can last in my pack before she breaks down and wishes to take her own life. I answered with a smile. Just the thought of breaking her mentality made me feel happy. I hated her claim of us being mated and how she had an effect on Axel. I also didn't like the disrespect that she had and the fake courage that she fairly portrayed in front of me. I wanted her to suffer and break down. I wanted her ruined and broken from inside out. Consider it done, Alpha. He answered. Good, now inform everyone to wrap everything up. We have fulfilled what we came for. Now it's time to go back home and have the best party of all time like always. I said happily as he smiled, then turned and walked back to where the warriors were.
Please download Novels Ago and search the code in the upper left corner to continue reading.